People, I'm not a negative person. I like to think of myself as somebody who can always see the good in something. And thankfully, Panic at the Disco is a band that it used to be easy to see the good in, he says dryly. But seriously though, I do love Panic at the Disco, and I want to celebrate my love of this band by talking about the 7 best songs that they've ever written. Though they might end up looking suspiciously like my 7 favorite songs from Panic at the Disco, because we all know that I have my thumb on the pulse of ranking music when nobody asks you to. Hello everybody, I'm Clifford Stummy, the pop song professor, and welcome to my channel where we make English class awesome by explaining and sometimes roasting song lyrics on school days. If you watch this daily show, you'll learn what your favorite songs lyrics mean, how to write song lyrics, and a whole lot more. And today we are talking about the 7 best Panic at the Disco songs. But first, let's talk about what makes a Panic at the Disco song good, because not every band has the same kinds of standards or the same goals. Based on my extensive listening to songs of Panic at the Disco, I've decided on 4 things that I think makes a really good Panic at the Disco song. 1, vibrant imagery. Word pictures, metaphors, ideas, characters, people who really just pop and really make you think, wow, that was weird. Fresh musical styles, like really interesting things with their music. Not so much with the more recent albums, but before that, like, they were always serving up something different. Drama and dynamics. So a lot of Panic at the Disco songs have things happening, like there's stories happening in the lyrics, and the music is doing weird, interesting, and cool things, and it keeps things moving. And there's always something fresh and cool, and there's like these characters in the stories who are going into like morally ambiguous situations and having to make decisions, and they're doing the wrong thing most of the time. And deep meanings in the lyrics. After all, that's what this channel is all about. If you watch my video on the 7 worst Panic at the Disco songs, you'll see how things have maybe changed for the worse. Pardon me for a moment while I get my English teacher on. Much better. Let's say you guys were asking yourselves how you, for yourselves, could judge whether a song was good or not. There are a lot of ways to do it, but my tip for you is to ask one particular question. Does this song make me a better person? If the answer is yes, then it's a good enough song overall. What does it mean for a song to make you a better person, and what are songs in the past that have made you a better person? Pause the video, comment that down below, and see what other people have written. One answer will get pinned or featured in an upcoming video, and I will read them too. Now that you're thinking about that, let's take a look at 7 Panic at the Disco songs that I think are excellent and that I think leave people as better people. Number 7, Sarah Smiles. Sarah Smiles is a song that Brendon Urie wrote to his now wife, Sarah. Basically, it's him telling her, like, we're destined for each other and we should get together. I think that this song is interesting because even though it is a love song, it's not a cliched love song, and it's kind of seeing it from his perspective, and he does talk about the destined side of things a little bit, but listen to these lines. Sarah smiles like Sarah doesn't care. She lives in her world so unaware. Does she know that my destiny lies with her? We see 2 things here. Number 1, we see him developing her as a character and as a personality. It's not just about how much he's attracted to her or about how much he wants to have sex with her. He is talking about how she's kind of a cool person. And then number 2, I think that the way he talks about his destiny lying with her is a little bit ironic, and so it's not completely wholehearted. Maybe it is, but it feels like it's given kind of an ironic vibe, which makes it a little bit of a commentary on other songs that are cheesy like that. I think he's kind of being cheesy for cheesy's sake. Number 6 is Mad as Rabbits. It's about a calendar salesman who tries to live a normal life and take care of his family and be a perfect family man, but the limitations of it just drive him crazy. He took the days for pageant, became as mad as rabbits with bushels of bad habits. And some people have suspected that his need to just go crazy and do crazy, insane, immature, irresponsible things leads him to those habits. Could be drug habits or something like that. And even though this calendar salesman is not an example of a good person, it is a character of somebody, and I think that we can appreciate somebody's story, especially when it helps us to better understand our own story. Number 5 is Death of a Bachelor, and this one I think is cool because the concept is very well put together. It's this idea that when you become married, for a guy in particular, in this case a bachelorette for a girl, you kill off an old side of yourself, the single side of yourself, and you're never completely going to get that back ever again. You're saying goodbye to a phase of life and saying hello to a new one. And listen to these lines here. How could I ask for more? A lifetime of laughter at the expense of the death of a bachelor. So he knows that things are going to be so much better with his wife and at the same time, he's a little bit sad because it means losing out on something else. Not only is the music fantastic, but I really like that look, that peek into somebody else's perspective on life. And it's a clever way to put it too. Number 4 is Northern Downpour, and it's an older song from the band, and it's about them kind of contemplating touring life and just how grateful they are for where they are in their life at that moment. Listen to these lines here. If all our life is but a dream, fantastic posing greed, then we should feed our jewelry to the sea, for diamonds do appear to be just like broken glass to me. Not only is like the phrasing and the rhyming and the structure there kind of like quirky and interesting, but it's also kind of a cool message. It's that, you know, our experiences and where we are and the people we're with, they're what's important. All of this money and things that we could be chasing as material possessions shouldn't mean something to us in the same way that all of those other good things do. And keep in mind, I'm not saying that for a song to make you a better person it has to teach you a lesson. Sometimes it has to make you feel happy. And so a fun party song like a pop song can do that at times if it's used in the right way. If that's all you ever listen to and you're just living off a fake happy vibe, it's probably not making you a better person. It's probably making you a more repressed person. At the same time, if you listen to only like super hardcore death metal emo and you just feel like more and more angry as a result, is that making you a better person? And if you're listening to music that makes you sad all the time, is that making you a better, more well-rounded, more realistic, better picture of the world kind of person? Art and music are powerful because of the messages and the perspectives that they enable us to take part in. Perspectives of truth, perspectives of beauty, experiences, all sorts of crazy stuff that you wouldn't be able to do if you were just living life through your own eyes and ears. But I digress, and I'm starting to get like super preachy and start talking about stuff I learned in grad school that was so exciting. You should all get English master's degrees, by the way. It was a blast. Number 3 is I Write Sins, Not Tragedies, and listen to these lines. I chimed in with a haven't you people ever heard of closing the goddamn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of poise and rationality. And what I really like about this is it's the story of a groom who finds out that his bride is cheating on him, and he's so conflict avoidant that he just says, you know, if I don't like break up with her because she's cheating on me, then I won't have to deal with the drama of a failed marriage. And I think that's kind of a lie that we tell ourselves often, where we say if we don't go into battle to fix situations, well, then I won't have to risk losing the battle, or I won't have to have the history of a battle on my mind. And instead, you're just gonna go and live in, like, the metaphor is breaking down. I guess, slavery to the feudal lord who's taken over your plot of land. Not only do you need to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, but you also need to be willing to know when it's time to fight and to join the conflict, when it's an appropriate time to stand up for yourself. Not only that, the music is awesome. This is a fantastic song, but I think that it does make people better people for having listened to it if they take the time to think about it. Number 2 is This Is Gospel, and this was voted the top Panic! At the Disco song in the Panic! At the Disco tournament bracket that we did a while ago. Not only because it is an excellent sounding song, but listen to these lyrics. If you love me, let me go. If you love me, let me go, because these words are knives that often leave scars, the fear of falling apart, and truth be told, I never was yours. And essentially, this is Brandon telling, I think he was the drummer of the band, Spencer Smith, who was struggling with alcoholism and addiction to drugs. He was basically saying, you're kind of screwing over the people that you love and who care about you through this alcoholism and addiction, and you need to just like let us go or shape up. Not all of us know somebody who's going through that, so being able to understand that from through the power of music, from the perspective of Brendan, makes it a really, really interesting song. And finally, the best Panic! At the Disco song for its power to make you a better person for having listened to it is none other than The Ballad of Mona Lisa. Now, obviously the painting of Mona Lisa, she's just like sitting there, she's got like this quirky smile. And it's kind of like this smile that makes, well here, let me show you. Basically like that, right? I totally got it, nailed it, 100%, perfect, okay, cool. But it kind of makes it look like there's a lot going on inside of her head, and it's inscrutable, like you don't know what's going on in there just as you're like looking at this picture of her. And so The Ballad of Mona Lisa is this song about this guy who meets with a prostitute and is having to make some difficult decisions about right and wrong. And the idea is that his face is kind of a blank expression as he's thinking about these things. And so the song is about how we have thoughts that make us want to do good things and bad things, and we're weighing the consequences, and people may not be able to see that happening inside of us while we're thinking about it. Say what you mean, tell me I'm right, and let the sun rain down on me. Give me a sign I want to believe. These are the thoughts and the lyrics of somebody who's trying to figure things out, and setting a good example for us as we try to figure out things as well. Now obviously my picks here are not gospel, if you will. They are based on some of my opinions, a lot of deep analyses and readings of Panic! At the Disco lyrics, and some of the results of our bracket tournament from on this YouTube channel a little while back. I think that it's important to remember that different people will have different opinions, but I think it's also important to remember that it is possible to have objective standards for what makes music good or not. Now, your perspective and your experiences are going to influence how you make your calls on whether a song is good or not, but I think that if we ask the question, does it make you a better person, or does it make people in general better people? I think that's a really good first step in finding out whether a song is good or not. If it makes you a worse person, throw that garbage out. If it doesn't affect your life, why are you wasting your time on just like meaningless crap? If you can find songs and art and friends and experiences that make you a better person, the stupid question that I have to ask myself all the time is, why would I waste my time on something that doesn't make me happier, that doesn't make me a better person, that doesn't make my world a better place to live in? And I encourage you guys to ask that question of yourselves too. And songwriters, my songwriting tip of the day for you is this: don't try to write songs that make people better people. If you do that, you're probably gonna end up sounding preachy. Instead, write lyrics that the experience of writing them makes you a better person, and then the lyrics will take care of the people who decide to listen. All right, guys, if you've made it this far, comment your favorite mythical creature. Don't forget to check out these videos right here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.